changes.
All right. Adoption of the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the adoption of the consent agenda. Including approval of action minutes for August 10th and August 13th, ratification of the bills in the amount of $532,339.39. Approval of ordinance 475, amending 471, changing the date of FEMA flood insurance rate maps and flood insurance study. Approved OLCC special event license for landmass wines and approved purchase of a truck for the electric utilities.
Second. All right, so I got a motion by Kylan, second by Price.
No comments,
Huh?
unless you pull it off.
That's what I was gonna do.
What do you,
I would, well, I mean, you can't even ask a question.
You pull it off.
you pull and then we talk about it.
I wanted to ask more questions about the truck for the utility, electric utility.
So,
Yeah, so if we can pull that
We're
down.
gonna pull that. We need to amend that motion,
When you pull it, it's better.
so we'll pull the approved purchase of truck for electric company. Anything else, that's it? All right, so we got a motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda, which is the approval of action minutes of August 10th and August 13th, 2026. Ratification of the bills in the amount of $532,339.39. Approval of ordinance number 475, amended 471, changing date of FEMA flood insurance rate maps and flood insurance study. And approving OLCC special event license for landmass wines. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. All right, A through D passes unanimously. Passes. All right. And now we can will approve the purchase of a truck for the electric company. And do we have to have a motion to talk about that?
Yep.
Okay, we don't move it down further to the agenda, or we're just going.
Just sort of,
Okay.
That's right, yeah.
either way, but as long as we're here, let's talk about it.
Okay.
do we need a motion?
Mhm.
So I move to approve the purchase of a truck for electric utility.
Okay. Okay, got it. Sure, got it.
All right, so I got a motion by Happy, second by Price, for approved purchase of truck for the electric utility. All right, now we can discuss. Bernard.
So I'm thrilled we're getting this truck. Got to be clear, I understand the current one's 15 years old.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly support replacing it. However, I couldn't help but go, man, trucks are expensive these days.
Yeah.
Are there options that might be a little more affordable? And so I poked around. I looked at both a Ford truck and then an electric truck. As you know me, I care about this environmental stuff, not to mention I'm trying to avoid the fuel costs. And I found that a Maverick will cost about $33,000. It looks very similar. It's got the double cab, full bed, but it's a hybrid, and it gets 41 miles a gallon. So it would be much more fuel efficient than the one that's currently being staff recommended. So okay, let me just run through my question. The questions I had are, what is the type of work this truck will be used for? Because if we need a big beefy truck, then maybe I'm amenable to something more beefier than the Maverick, but that's the first thing I need to ask. And then, with regard to EV trucks, I had a discussion with one of the council members saying, look, if they do operations, but to bring fuel to the field, it's not practical to have an EV. I'm like, fair question. I don't know what their operations are. If that's the case, then I think that's less of a good idea. So my second question is, are there work events that require the department to bring fuel out there, like an extra good jug of fuel, so they can continue to operate as needed? And then my my other ones was, did you consider a smaller truck like a Maverick? And would that meet your needs? And then, of course, same thing for a Lightning. So that's the questions I had, but I kind of have this broader question, like, can we meet these operational needs for either less money up front via the base cost, like a Maverick, or less money on the long run by going EV and avoiding the fuel charges? I ran the math on that. You would save about $22,000 for over 12 years in using electricity versus gas. So it's substantial. Okay, so that way that's when I started.
Would you like me to sit up here and just talk?
You want
about
him to
this?
answer the questions?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll see.
Since you're the guy getting the.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did look at all the vehicles. One reason I don't like hybrids is the reliability of them. They're still iffy. It will get a lot of off-road heavy use. So this is the vehicle that's gonna go out at night, patrol the right of ways. There's gonna be ice, there's gonna be snow, there's gonna be limbs in the road. One of the reasons I wanted a beefier, more off-road style truck is that the Chevy had its transfer case ripped out of it because it bottomed out while going down one of the right-of-way roads. It also had a radiator puncture because a stick came up through it. So the model that I was looking at is an off-road specific model. It comes with skid plates to help protect from ice and snow, rocks, bottoming out, things like that. It also comes with, you know, a little bit more all-season tires as opposed to the SR. If just comparing the Toyota models, the SR5 base model comes full street setup. So we'd have to modify that just so it could access the right-of-way roads because some of them get pretty rough, especially in ice and snow. It will be the vehicle that we'll be patrolling the lines with. So it's nice to have a smaller vehicle for that because the right-of-ways get pretty narrow, especially once they get overgrown. It's just a lot better in the ice and snow. It definitely can be out for many hours at a time. So as you know, we work 40-hour shifts when the weather gets really nasty. So this is a vehicle that needs to be out and stay out in the field. And I love electric vehicles. I have an electric car. I really like the idea of electric, but I just don't think we're quite ready for that step here. You know, if we had more vehicles or something like that, maybe it's something we can consider. But that's why I kind of steered away from the electric vehicle. I like the Toyota's reliability. I think that it's a vehicle that we can buy and have for a really long time. I know Rich and I talked about like our vehicles aging. I actually found a mechanic that's willing to work on vehicles as old as ours. And he said they're in great shape. So if we keep maintaining these vehicles, I'm hoping that we can run them a lot longer than I originally planned. So that's kind of what I was hoping with this vehicle. As we buy it now, it's something we hold on for a long time. And I am looking for something that does have that off-road capabilities because it will need to be out when the weather's at its worst and doing work, hauling transformers from time to time, hauling material from time to time. I don't need a huge truck, but I need something that can haul some things around.
Did he get all your questions?
Well, so with regard to the Maverick, so is that clearance a problem or
Yes.
what would be problematic with
The
that?
clearance is a big problem. So again, the Chevy it's reasonably high off the ground. It's not very high, but they went to put bigger tires on it to try to compensate for that. But there's still a problem because it does bottom out on some of our right of ways, so we have to be really careful. And then again, the other part of it too is that our right of ways are changing constantly in the winter. So it floods out. Well, now our right of ways are rutted all over the place. So having a vehicle that doesn't get stuck, because we've pulled these vehicles out many times. We've ripped bumpers off trying to get vehicles unstuck. We've done all kinds of things. So having a vehicle that's a little bit more nimble, a little bit more capable, and a little bit lighter, it's a lot better for those kind of circumstances. Plus, it's got the room that all three of us can climb in, and we can drive into a pack and pull, bring all our gear with us. We can climb in, get our work done, and then get out without bringing any big equipment in there.
Okay, and then with regards to the F-150 Lightning, would its clearance be sufficient or is?
So price wise, I mean, we'd be looking at quite a bit more by the time, because it comes basically with a street setup. So in order to set it up to where, you know, it would be a little bit better off-road, we would have to put some money into it. I veer away from saying a lift kit on it, but we might need a little bit more ground clearance. Skid protection on the bottom of vehicles is amazing. I do a lot of off-roading and they come in really handy because it turns, you know, you normally bottom out the truck and you hear a crunching sound, you're probably breaking something, ripping a hose off or doing something. On a vehicle with plates like that, you just drive over it, you don't even worry about it. So there is a lot that this would gain as far as accessing those roads. Again, we don't have to do it very often, but when we do, we need to get in.
Sure, yeah,
So-
I agree, yeah.
All right.
So the lighting, yeah, again, a full electric truck, mostly it's the emergency call outs and things like that. I just don't wanna be stuck without the vehicle when we really need it. What if power goes downtown and I can't charge it?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We're, oops, so, but I like electric trucks and I think maybe someday we'll get there.
Right.
All right, Tiffany.
And I like the idea, but at the same time, we would also have to pay to install to be able to have it charging while they're not working.
Yeah, it's not,
And that's
it's
not-
less than $1,000.
Less than
The
a
charging station is
How much?
less than $1,000.
Oh, okay, well, still, I think so
It's
that's
a very simple,
my question was, is there anything else that needs to be done to the truck?
Lights, so just hazard lights in a toolbox, so a couple $1,000s. Yeah, amber lighting for when we're setting up on the side of the road to alert people around us, and then just a basic toolbox with a light on the back of it.
All right. And then I'll get to you, Courtney.
I kind of had this opposite reaction. I was like, that seems like a small truck, you know, and you were saying the right of ways get overgrown, you want
Yes.
the shorter wheelbase, a little more maneuver.
We get in, we gotta turn around sometimes, so we get in places and we can't go any farther, now we gotta turn around on really tight right of ways. The bike path basically on Eagle Creek there, that's one of those locations where you have to drive all the way in there and you have to do this to get around in there. And a lot of our right of ways are like that, we drive all the way to the end and then you have to back all the way out or find a way to turn around. So having a more nimble vehicle for something like that is nice.
And I gotta say, I mean, Toyotas hold their value, and they're very reliable,
Yeah.
It's a good, they hold their value because they are so reliable, and they,
Yeah.
you know, you can beat them up for 20 years, but it's still a
Yeah.
great truck. Did you get a quote from Columbia Gorge Toyota?
I got 3 quotes, the only ones that I could find, were that, it's actually surprising it was hard to get quotes. I sent all these things out, and like, people would call me and ask me when I can come test drive it, and it's like, they don't even read the email.
No, they don't do that.
Or the wrong colors, or things
The
like
only reason why I
that.
asked that is because I bought a Toyota and I shopped at Gresham Toyota
Okay.
and Columbia Gorge Toyota. I gave them the number and they beat it.
Oh,
So I'm
really?
just saying, Aaron,
Yeah.
Carter, those guys are good and that they might be competitive and they might be willing to get your business because they're in the gorge.
Okay, I don't even know if they were one of them. Gladstone, Vancouver Toyota, and Gresham Toyota were the 3 that responded with a good quote that I could put forward.
But
So,
I would, you know, just saying, you know, we're gonna give you the go ahead here, but I mean, it might be worth saying if
if I want to, I can give them a call and see if they want to.
here's the number on the side of the truck. If we can beat this number, we don't want to keep our business.
If they have it available. Again, the stock really surprised me is low too, yeah.
Again, upfitting, you were talking about winch, what about a winch? Wouldn't that be potentially used?
Yeah, it's something that I might throw on there. I mean, there is some money left in the budget for the truck. It definitely does come in handy. So, yeah, I mean,
I could see that being really useful.
Yeah,
And I just
absolutely.
needed the number we approve is more than that.
yeah,
And then the last question was, can you find, is financing an option? I know that we got the cash, but if you could get a promotional financing at 0%, we could keep the money and actually earn some, you know, interest on that.
I mean, I guess we could look into that. I didn't.
And if you can, I'm interested in if you can finance in the upfitting in the purchase of the vehicle, it might be a good way to actually.
The dealer doesn't want to, I could
They
find a
won't do
dealer
it.
that will do the lights, yeah, that seems like that's more of an aftermarket thing.
See, for my work truck, I mean, even though I had another, you know, vehicle wraps and lighting and all these things put on my trucks. It was done by a third party, but the dealer actually.
Facilitated all
They
the work.
facilitated it.
And that's the one you're talking about here? Okay,
No, that was a personal.
Oh,
vehicle,
okay.
Toyota, but our Ford, so.
okay,
Gresham Ford will send it out to get the wraps done and then all of the other upfitting we want to do, they just put it right in the purchase price. Then
okay.
we got the promotional, you know, financing is on a new vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I think we can talk about, I don't, is that?
Those are the questions I had.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we can look at, and yeah, I would definitely ask the dealer just because it makes it easier for me if they're willing to add the stuff that I would like onto it, before I go pick it up, would just save me from going up there and taking it somewhere else and having the work done and then going back and getting it again.
It's Toyota's not as common a contractor vehicle as Ford.
No, it-
Ford's a
yeah.
lot more willing to work with.
Yeah, originally I was looking at the Ford, but when it came down to it, I just thought this vehicle would work better for us, and I did price out the stuff for the Ford, and they would do it because it's right across from the dealership, but I haven't found one for the Toyota yet, so. Like I said, it was hard finding a dealer that would work with us and had the vehicle that we were looking for, so, once we get that squared away, then I can work out the details of it.
Payload, I mean, you can haul transformers then?
Oh, yeah, but our only transformers only weigh 1,000 pounds, you know, for the heavier ones, I mean, most of them are 300 to 400 pounds, so yeah, no problem. And again, it's usually gonna be like cross arms, hand coils of wire, things like that we haul in there, so it's, yeah, it'll haul what we need to do.
Thanks.
Right, Courtney,
Did you look at the resale value? I mean, I'm a fan of buying a truck and loving it until she's done, but, yeah, did you compare resale values and, you know, depreciation rates between different models?
Yeah, I mean, the Toyota definitely holds its value better than any other vehicle. It definitely is the most reliable one. Most of the other small pickup trucks, as soon as you drive them off the lot, they tank. They're just not popular. Maybe if we went with a Jeep, Jeep Gladiator would be one of those that also holds its value pretty good, but the other models definitely do not. And, you know, I looked at the Colorado, is the GMC versus the Chevy Colorados. I looked at the Mavericks a little bit, again, I just think that buying something and having the reliability of the Toyota is really important. You know, we want this thing to run all the time. Yeah, it's a never guarantee with a truck. You might buy a Ford, it might do better than a Toyota. But history says that the Toyotas do outlast them and definitely have the resale value there. So.
Jeremy, can I ask you, you guys have the port has a Toyota Tacoma, and you guys have been happy with yours?
Yeah.
All right. All right, any other questions, comments? Courtney?
So, but if we do say, ask that. There was another call made to another dealership and here in the gorge, would we approve this? And then he would have the ability to do
The
that?
option for you would be withdraw the motion, make a new motion that says, give him the authority to do further investigation and authority to buy based on being satisfied with your comments. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I think the
and
motion that I made was just to approve the purchase of a truck for the electric utility.
Mhm.
I didn't specify where or for how much.
No.
And we authorized up to $60,000.
Pickup truck for the city's electric utility.
item 3E, which lists of these,
Yeah,
He,
but his motion didn't
If I
say.
read it from the agenda, I didn't read the recommended.
I would say yes.
Do you want to amend it to include it in it?
if you don't amend it, then he can go make this phone call, maybe look at the financing options. Maybe the add-ons and stuff, it's because it's, what we're looking for is ability to buy a truck to serve our needs. It's well below budget, and all we're looking for is your approval to buy a vehicle.
No, and I'm for it, you can put a winch on there too, you know, and that's useful. You know,
Yeah, I mean, it definitely can come in handy, so.
You guys ever have to hoist stuff, like?
Yeah, if we do a transformer change out by hand, having a winch on the truck's a lot easier than tying a rope on the truck and trying to drive it on the right of way with it. Again, the vehicle gets stuck out on the right of way. It's it being a smaller truck, it's not gonna help us that much get like the bucket truck or the digger truck unstuck, but it does help us pull limbs out of the road, trees out of the right of way. I mean, we can set poles with it if we had to, so it definitely can come in handy, so.
Right, Courtney?
so this would be basically just open for him to be able to go out and find a truck, would that come back to us, or if we just said,
No.
go ahead, stay
No.
within the budget and do what you gotta do?
Yes.
Yeah. Tiffany?
I was just wondering if you're gonna put like a cage on the back window, because those tend to get
Yes.
broken very easy.
Yes, it'll have the toolbox with the cage on the back window, cause that's what the lights will mount to too, cause I gotta put the amber lights and I'm gonna put go lights on it, which are basically spotlights to help us look at the lines.
Because it just doesn't take much to.
No, it doesn't, yeah, slide a shovel in the back too hard and the window blows up.
Yeah, right. Bernard?
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna be a nay on this, but I just wanna tell you, Walter,
Okay.
the Tacoma with 12 years of fuel ends up cost of ownership plus the purchase of the vehicle being $77,000. The F-150, again, this is the long range, so 320 miles and one charge with its fuel ends up being 59,000. So there's like a, almost a $20,000 difference in total cost of ownership of that vehicle. Not to mention, I worry less about that. I've been driving one for 13 years and, the power goes out. Actually, I'm the only one that has power. I've got this massive battery sitting in my garage, fully charged up, ready to charge phones, do anything you want with it. So I'm not worried about that. And I would like to see this city move towards, more environmentally friendly vehicles. And that's obviously my ethic and, that's one of the things I'm gonna promote as a councilman.
Yeah, I completely understand that point of view. I can tell you that, I look at a lot of what other utility companies do as well, especially we're somewhat rural utilities. So I look at North Wasco PUD, I look at, Wasco Co-op, I look at OTEC. Nobody runs electric vehicles. So that's one thing where I think about why. Some of the bigger companies like the Tugboat North, they tried to switch to hybrid trucks for a long time and they went away from it because of too much maintenance. Then they went to natural gas trucks. And then they found problems that, well, what if the station where they gotta go fill up's down and now trucks are driving too far to go do it? So our coverage area is really small. It's unlikely that the truck's gonna leave our coverage area hardly ever. The Ford Lightning is a way less capable truck though to go off-road to do the work that we would need it to do. So that is one issue. The other problem is the range seems good, but with these electric vehicles, right, it's gonna be out on the right of way, driving really slow. It's gonna be, sitting there a lot, running the heater to keep us warm and keep it defrosted. So while the range seems okay, it will burn through the battery relatively fast with the type of work that we were doing. So maybe it would become an issue, maybe it wouldn't, but that would be my biggest issues. It's just a bigger truck. So it's definitely not as capable off-road. The ground clearance would be an issue on it. It comes with street tires, so we'd have to change the tires out. So that's something to consider as well in that truck.
Yeah.
All right, Tiffany.
And I would just say that, I don't know if the technology's changed, but the batteries don't last as long in the colder weather, correct? I mean,
Yeah,
and so that's, I mean.
Yeah.
it's degraded, not a crazy amount, but it is less when it's too hot or too cold
Yeah.
because the truck has to keep the batteries warm or has to keep them from overheating or has to keep them from freezing. So you do burn up part of your power that way as well.
Courtney.
Point to that running lights, sitting there and having it run amber lights can be
Yeah.
pretty draining. I was curious, Bernard, on, what mileage did you base your numbers off of for gas?
12,000 miles a year. I'm not sure, what do we use in?
It's hard to say because, I'm 5 months in and, I'm not sure what everything's gonna pan out to when all this running around work is done. So I don't have a lot to tie it to. And then the fact that, for the last 5 years, not much
I know.
has
we
been
don't-
done. So it's really hard to
that-
base it to,
yeah.
I don't know for sure.
12,000,
Yeah, that's probably somewhat accurate.
All right, any more questions or comments?
Outfitting, XTC and you talked to those guys at all?
I will, yeah, like I said, I kinda wanted to figure out what truck I wanted first before I tried to start sourcing parts for it.
No.
So I did it once and then I switched trucks and then that whole way, it's like, okay, well, that was.
They've got, they know that your toolbox, that rear window,
Okay.
all your lights, and being, I'm hoping that Columbia Gorge Toyota can meet that question.
Okay.
Sure they will. I'm sure they will.
I will reach out to Columbia Gorge Toyota for a link
I
before
got a referral for you.
Okay, do you wanna email it to me then?
Yeah, I can give it to you.
Okay,
I'll
absolutely,
get it to Gordon and then I can have it
Okay.
over to you.
yeah, sounds good, I'll look into it.
All right, so we got a motion on the floor by Happy, second by Price, to approve the purchase of a pickup truck for the city's electric utility. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no.
No.
All right, so we got 6 yays and 1 no, and it does pass. To approve the purchase of a truck for the electric company.
I like it.
All right. Appearances of interested citizens shared on a variety of perspectives of issues facing our community.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Alan. Special reports, none. Public hearing, none. All right, on to action items. Second reading of ordinance number 472, amended community development code to allow RV parking in light industrial area.
RV camping, not parking.
Camping, did I say parking?
Yes.
Yeah, I read it. See? Okay,
You've got the staff report, we discussed this at the last time. This is the second reading. Make the order, Bishop.
we can get a motion, right? Mhm.
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 472, amending community development code to allow RV camping in light industrial zone.
Second.
So I got a motion on the floor by Price, second by Seeger. And for the second reading of ordinance number 472, amending community development code to allow RV camping in light industrial area. Bernard.
So I'm just going on the staff report. The staff recommended motion a little different from what Councilmember Price read. Lee, does that matter,
No,
Mr. Manager?
it's the adoption. Second reading, so,
It says that ordinance and approve amendments to,
oh, that's true, you have to do that for.
okay, so you wanna,
Friendly amendment.
Okay, sorry.
So page 11,
Can I say so, Amanda?
yes, you can.
Thank you.
That's the second, Bruce.
so the friendly amendment would be to move to adopt ordinance 472 and approve the amendments to the Cascade Locks Community Development Code, Chapter 8-6.84 to add RV campgrounds as a permitted use in the light industrial zoning district consistent with comprehensive plan policies set by planning goals and applicable OAR.
So amended.
All right, so I got,
Second that, yes.
all right,
Thank you, Brent.
motion by Price, second by Seeger. Any discussion? Tiffany.
So this is to make it a conditional use. Is that my understanding?
It is, if it's not, if you look at the last page. Or the second exhibit,
So
it is a permitted use.
so it doesn't,
That's different than condition.
that's, yeah, so it doesn't come, it doesn't, okay, so then it's just automatically, if that's what they wanna do, they do.
Well, they have to do the application, they go through the whole process.
Understand?
Yeah, it's like with the other retail sales and services. It's listed under that.
Any other questions, comments?
Oh, Kaylin is here if we have.
Okay, hi Caitlin.
Hello,
Ready?
if you have any questions regarding the staff report, I'm happy to answer them.
Do you have any questions, comments?
I just have.
Okay, Tiffany.
I'm gonna vote no on this just because I don't. Doesn't sit right. We already have a lot of traffic issues on. The whole report says that it's not for this specific project, but we all know that it is. And I just don't think it's a good use, so.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right, so I got a motion on the floor by Price for to adopt ordinance number 472 and approve the amendments to the CLCDC chapter 8-6.84 to add RV campgrounds as a permitted use in L1 zoning district consistent with comprehensive plan policies, statewide planning goes, and applicable OARs. And that was second by Seeger. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Oh, hold on, we have to do a roll call vote for this according to our charter, so you need to do a roll call vote. So you go to each one and ask them what they vote.
Councilmember Seeger,
Aye.
I almost messed up, sorry guys.
Councilmember Kyleman, aye. Councilmember Bramblett,
Aye.
Councilmember Price,
Aye.
Councilmember Happy,
Aye.
Councilmember Pruitt,
No,
and Mayor Wood.
What's that?
That was what I was asking.
I am a no because of Forest Lane and we continue as a city to ignore the problems on Forest Lane. And I've been advocating about Forest Lane for years until we make that, I mean. Because I also just recently noticed that on the frontage road of over by the way station, they made it to where nothing over 3 axle vehicles can be on there except for emergency vehicles. So that means everything is coming down Forest Lane pretty much. So on that, we have 5 yays and 2 noes with Wood and Pruitt noes. And with that, it does pass. Let me read it just so we're very clear. So it passed to move to adopt ordinance number 472 and approve the amendments to the CLCDC chapter 8-6.84 to add RV campgrounds as permitted use in the L1 zoning district consistent with comprehensive plan policies, statewide planning codes and applicable OARs. And that did pass 5-2.
It is the LI. It's a light industrial zoning district.
Oh, LI?
Yes. Sorry for the interruption.
No, thank you. So permitted use in LI, light industrial zoning districts, okay. All right, so it passed 5 yeas, 2 noes. And moving on.
Bye, Kayla.
Thank you guys.
No problem. Goodbye. Good night.
All right, next is the resolution number 1529, establishing rates for electrical services.
From the GDS study that you've had for a month or so, and this, the council's directive to balance the power rates, so the residents are subsidizing the industrial area. And including the effects of not increasing the rates last year from the BPA rates plus the potential rate increase this year. We encourage you to pass this resolution to increase the rates effective October 1st. I think, yeah, October 1st.
Move to approve resolution number 1529, establishing rates for electrical services.
Second.
All right, so I got a motion by Price, a second by Kyleman to approve resolution 1529, establishing electrical rates for electrical services. And Bernard.
Thank you, Mayor. So when I looked over this, the TDS report was alarming for a number of reasons, but it's showing dramatic increases both in transmission and cost of power. And then I look at the impacts on our customers, residential, commercial, et cetera. And those numbers are also unsettling. And so I'm not comfortable passing this resolution tonight. And I called the mayor this morning saying I'll be making a request that council table this item and conduct a workshop. We do a deeper dive into all the anticipated revenue from our existing rate structure and then what difference needs to be made up to meet our new costs. And then wrestle with that. I mean, maybe we need to bleed into our fund balance a little to ease the pain that we're about to place on everything. But that's a very complex, nuanced conversation. And I don't think we're ready to have it tonight, not to mention, whatever we do, I almost want to have a town hall. If we increase rates 14% in our first go, citizens are gonna know. They need to know, why are you going to jump my rates so much? And we need to have a good, thorough response to that. I don't feel like I have that right now, and that's why I'm requesting this be tabled and we do a workshop to really spend some more time on it.
All right, Tiffany.
I am especially troubled by the 38% increase for the heavy industrial. I understand that they're not paying their fair share, but it moves us from what, the middle of the chart to the very top of the chart, we have
like that
we're paying most of anybody around here, and I get we need to equal that out, but that really concerns me, and I do understand that us not having a rate increase for whatever reason, is. We could have eased the burden, but unfortunately, it's gonna be a sharp cut, it's gonna be a sharp knife cut to the throat if we don't. Do some sort of, rate increase. I mean, obviously, the report, the report clearly states that it's almost we're gonna be $1 million in the hole if we don't do something. Also, on page 6 of the resolution, yes, on page 6 of the resolution, I'm wondering if, under schedule number 5. Right, for the LED, for this, yes. Is that LED lights? Because when I looked up high pressure sodium, it said that it was not LED lights, but I do not know. Because we mostly have only LED lights now, correct?
I don't have any.
I would have been here as the mom could have stayed here for this, but, I think.
that's correct.
Yeah, they changed, I think we got.
I think we got them all changed, so but I don't know necessarily if security lights are, well, I would assume.
This is not the street light. This is the security lights for people have the.
And are they different, are they still the sodium,
Yeah.
the high pressure sodium?
They are.
I think we need to find that out for sure, because I'm not really sure. I mean, because we were told we had to get rid of ours because they don't make them anymore, so they still make them for security lights. That doesn't make sense to me, so I'd like to find that answer out. But yeah, I mean, I'm not against a workshop, but we just need to start warning people that there's gonna be a rate increase. We don't have a choice. I mean, we had to pay the fine last year because BPA lost money from not having enough water going through the dam. And all the electric companies, what was it? I don't remember how much it was, $15,000-$20,000 or something. We had to pay.
But that would defy the 14%.
I get that, but it anticipates it for the next few years.
Well, like I
Because they're
said,
doing
I
the
wanna
same
see
thing.
that, Matt, that's all.
One time. BPA, says that they're gonna be able to sell a certain amount of electricity, and then the government steps in and says, no, you can't put that much water through to create that much electricity, and so they still have to make up those sales somehow. They aren't gonna do without their money. It's a frustrating, ridiculous political nightmare, but it is what it is, and we can't run our department at a loss. But I don't disagree with you. I don't mind having a workshop, but the result is gonna be, we're gonna have a rate increase, and people just need to know that there's gonna be a rate increase. We don't have a choice. We missed it last year. So now we have to make up for last year, catch up what we should have done last year and this year, so it's gonna be deep. Hold on 1 second, Shrub. Did you have a
No,
comment?
her summary was exactly right. You didn't catch up last year. You're further in the hole. You gotta pay for that. You gotta pay for what the increase that would have been, and you gotta pay for the 6% that's coming. Also the point about the large industrial user, we have one user that qualifies. And they already know they're paying the absolutely cheapest rate. And if you worry about, and their tier 2 rate, because they're the one that is driving us into our tier 2. And so it's fair to have them pay for that tier 2 rate. And where are they gonna go? Because if they go anywhere else, they're gonna be in the gorge. They can't go to Hillsborough. They can't go to, wherever, North Plains or once again, allow them in. Because there's this growing moratoriums for data centers. We have them for us in an enviable position.
Can I read that? And I don't disagree with that. I don't, it just takes your breath away though, when you look 38%, we went from, being reasonable to, extraordinarily.
They're just to put it in the real numbers, they'll go from about $300,000 a month to $400,000 a month. So,
All right, Brett.
I agree. I feel like, I agree with Bernard, that we should look at this a little bit deeper and dig in a little bit deeper, and I would also like the council to think about, instead of waiting and then determining a rate increase, you know, and now let's do like a 5-year rate package or a 3-year rate package, so it's stair stepping and we know what to expect, our citizens know what to expect, just an idea of, you know, looking forward, not just
And that's what-
increases right now.
That's what the council did 3 years ago,
Mhm.
and they had stair stepped. But they ignored the rate increases that BPA threw on top of that. So even with the stair step, you need to review every October, every August, you need to look at what's going on. And this is 14% now and 4% for the next 2 years.
And I think you kind of answered my question, but it says here, the city now has significant consumer of electricity. This is on page 2 of the staff report, the third paragraph. It says the city now has a significant consumer of electricity using at about 3 megawatts of power daily, making our average total power consumption about 8 megawatts per day. Can you explain that? That means, was that 3 megawatts above our high water mark?
Our current high water mark is 2.56.
Okay.
We've signed a contract effective 28 where the high water mark will go with 5. What the high water mark does is marks the everything up to the high water mark, 5 megawatts, is at tier 1 rates. Everything above the high water mark will be charged at
I understand that. I guess I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm just not, I don't think you understood my question, because it says here, the city now is a significant consumer of electricity using at about 3 megawatts of power daily, making our average total power consumption about 8 megawatts.
Our city uses 8 megawatts in total. That one customer uses 3 of that 8.
Is that your question?
Oh, I see. It has a significant consumer of electricity. That's the one consumer.
Yeah.
And they use 3 megawatts in our total. Thank you.
Yes.
That answers my question. I didn't understand. I was like, it says we're only using 3 and then 8, so, but it's the one consumer. And then I thought that we had this good news that, hey, our high water mark was moving in 2028 to 5 megawatts. And our power, purchase price is gonna go down significantly. So I thought we might have this little bump up, but in the long run, it was actually gonna go down.
Probably why your cost for the residences will go down, and the 4% kind of is right now cost of living kind of thing. So it may give us a little room, but until you get to next August, you don't really know.
And then the last question I had, we're all looking at these charts. These are the current rates for these other. And they have not done any rate adjustments yet.
As that date goes on.
So I would say they're all, buying power the same place as we are. They're gonna have to raise their rates too. And, the fact is, we're looking at, comparing us to where their rates are currently, but it's all gonna move up.
Yeah.
I think we're very competitively priced, and as we pointed out before, we need to maintain our electric utility. It needs to be something that's profitable for the city to provide the service. We can't be losing money to provide the service.
Yeah.
It's not something we want to do, but I still feel like in the long run, our consumers, our electricity are paying less than anywhere else.
Definitely, so that discussion that you just had brings up another question. So when in 2028, we get the lower high water mark, then do we negotiate the cost down for the commercial and large industrial? I mean, if you were a city administrator at that time, and we hit the 2028 and our high water mark goes down, goes up, and our rates are not as high, do we lower our?
I would leave our gross margins there and set it aside for reserves for future trucks, equipment. We have, Gerard will tell you, millions of dollars worth of undergrounding that we need to do downriver out to the YF. That lower margin or higher margin would allow us to do some of those things that we've put off.
Bernard.
Well,
Tom.
I agree with the two Dale, because we are this big thing here. I'm in agreement that we should probably have that discussion, but if we're gonna have that discussion, we need to do it quick, because all these things are gonna keep rolling. We can discuss them if we want, but these rates are happening.
Yeah.
That stuff's all gonna happen, and you need to start collecting some money or go in the hole in order to keep up with it. But I think we should have a discussion on finding out what really is going on here and what we're having to do. But historically, you know, I was here when Whoops happened. Does anybody remember Whoops?
Yep.
Anybody know about Whoops?
No.
Yeah.
Those are big nuclear plants they're gonna build, and they forced us. They forced the city of Cascade lots who had a really low rate. They said we could take that away from you. So they forced us to buy into Whoops, into all these different nuclear plants. Then they all shut down. They didn't happen. So then they said, you're into it, now you gotta pay for it. They're gonna make us all pay for it. So things went nuts here for a while, over raising. And I think this, because of the organization we're in, they fought them and they won, and we didn't have to do what they were trying to force us to do. So we've been through some really tough things in here. We had to raise a lot higher than we're raising here. And I've also seen in times where they've asked for raises, and again, we have an organization that fights for us, where a rate is coming at you, they're saying it's what's gonna come, but then you raise your rate, and then that rate doesn't happen, and you've raised your rate. But when the BPA rate finally comes out, that they're actually gonna go with, they work it down below what they were asking for. So things like that can happen too.
Which they have done already. They projected the spill discussion to be 140 billion. They got pushback from the Public Power Council, Northwest Regulatory Utilities, NRU, and they lowered it to 100 million. So we've already had that pushback. We've already had that rate. And so it went from an 8% increase to a 6% increase.
And when tier two happened, I was there when tier two happened, they said, you know what, you're going to tier two, anything you do over 2.5, any more power you sell at all, over that, which is what we were at. You're going tier two, and they said tier two is gonna be 50 to 75% higher than tier one. But then when tier two came out, tier two was natural gas, they weren't selling it for the rest of the world, it was only being sold here. Tier two wound up being cheaper than tier one, so we got to be on tier two for quite a while at a cheap rate. Now, we're liquefying it, we're selling all over the world, so we gotta pay what all the world's paying. So our tier two is now exploding on it from natural gas. But again, as the world changes and as things happen in the world, that changes how all the energy happens. So, I mean, obviously, we need to have a discussion. Obviously, everybody's out there going after, and we're doing that. They're gonna come after us and they make their money. But we should at least know, I agree, we should at least know better what this thing's all about, but we need to do it quick. We're gonna do it, let's have a discussion, let's get through the stuff, and because you're gonna pay more money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, yeah. But it could go down, because I've seen it over the years where a rate went up, and a couple years later, that something happened in the system and the rate went down. But we left our rates up. I mean, and I'm sure, that happened during Tracy Huff's time here, and that's when our system was running at its best, because we left the rates up and Tracy had the kind of money to maintain it. We had a really well-maintained system.
Yeah,
So, yes, they did, but they didn't flirt it away.
yeah,
They did exactly what Gordon was talking about doing. They used it to maintain the system, and if you were around town here lately, you see a bunch of guys running around on four-wheelers, you know, they're looking at your poles.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like your poles are in very good shape, which I'm sure your poles are not in very good shape.
Yeah.
So we got a big expense coming to us, gonna be coming at us in pole replacement. So we are gonna need at some time here, being able to make extra money to finance the general maintenance of the system, let alone pay for increased power.
And you now have a full crew. And their rates go up.
all right, Bernard.
Look, I sound like we've got a majority that are interested in tabling that, so thank you. The only thing I want to add to is I didn't put this question in my email to the city administrator was the fact that our high water mark is going to 5 from 2.5 is a dramatic change in the cost structure for the utility. And given that, and it's already 26, right, about to be 27, I would like to see this forecast we do, again, and I can go talk to residents about maybe 4 to 5 years, that includes what does our cost structure look post the high water mark moving to 5, and then what's the financial picture of the electric utility? And I would like to have, again, a very firm understanding of that, and that dramatically changes what we need to be bringing in for revenue, because our costs are dramatically reducing, so.
Okay, so that's year 3 in this resolution.
Okay.
It's in the
Well-
GES study.
Yeah, I wanna see it, like, I wanna see some graphs that show that revenue and show the cost change. And then see, you know, how are they either connecting or not connecting to meet the needs of this utility? And again, being fiscally conservative with our ratepayers, so that's what I'm trying to grab a hold of.
Okay, I just wanna make one comment too, cause I think whatever we do, we need to do it now, because we are, like, we're paying more than what we're charging. And our large industrial user out there for all these years, a few years, has been paying less than residential. And that was never to be. Because they were the ones that I was on council then, and they were pushing us into tier 2, and they were gonna eat that cost, not the residential people. And we're eating that cost now, as they're barely paying what we're paying for power. So we're not collecting anything to maintain anything, and it shows, we haven't been doing well by our system. So I wanna throw that out there too, that we gotta do something, and it's critical, but I do know that I don't want so much for the citizens, because they've already been picking up the bill. Sherelle,
Forgive my for being naive, but is there a way that we can amend a resolution or add something to a resolution just to change one portion of the rate structure?
Yeah, the council can do anything you want to
I
do,
mean, is that a temporary solution until we can,
but
about our large industrial users? Can we change one rate
their rate,
temporarily until we can do a more comprehensive?
That would
yeah,
seem
you
like-
can, but
Yeah, that would look good.
it. The council's goal was to balance. This is what is required to balance.
If we can't do that next month, this could be a stopgap.
Number one, do you want the engineer to do this analysis that you're asking for? Number two, I don't know that it's included in the $40,000 that we already paid him. You authorize me to get more money spent to give you what the kind of information you're looking for. Three, we're losing money. So if you pass it this month, or maybe you pass it at the end of September, but if you pass it at the end of September, that's 1 week before the rate goes into effect. So, you know, we can come back and do a resolution to change the security lights, for example. At a piecemeal, but
Specifically target one rate.
particular target one rate.
It's not.
But to go against what your engineering study says is also not a good look. Particularly when the citizens are subsidizing that Bitcoin.
Tiffany.
I mean, ultimately, what would be the ultimate thing? We're just gonna, I mean. As much as it takes your breath away to say, 38% increase. It's not. Financially, it's not financially sound. I mean. What is it gonna change? I don't mind a workshop. I don't mind a workshop, but at the same time, what is it gonna change? If you just want more information, he can get you more information so that you can understand it more. But we have to raise the rates. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And it's a time.
And we've had the one information that was given to us for, this packet for a month.
But we didn't have the rate impact until Wednesday.
It's in the packet,
It's in that thing.
It's in here.
Well,
the very end page, all laid out.
Shred.
Just a quick question, Mary Ann, you might know or Gordon, do you know what the typical residential kilowatt hour monthly bill is?
1100. There's the chart, third chart shows you the typical residential user and its impact. From $105 to $119.
Thank you. So
That's a good question. That was, I mean,
$40 a month.
I read it.
$14 a month.
Yeah, and that. Even though that's a big increase, I mean. We have to pay to take care of our system, Tom.
And that's all, I think that's all Bernard's asking, that's all I'm asking too, is we're just sitting in here and having a quick little discussion here in a few minutes. We have people here on the council that aren't sure, that are confused, that are, what does this mean? What does that mean? Oh, I didn't pick that up. I think we need to have a complete talk of this specific thing, because we've all looked at it in our own way. So we've had it, but we've all looked at it in our own way. I think we need to get down and have a more of a comprehensive together look at it. So we asked all those questions so that I can answer to the citizens. What, not what I think it means, but be a little bit more solid on what it really does mean. And I think another meeting going specifically on this, where Gordon or whomever thinks, they don't have to go do more studies, the information's there. But get us all on board of what that information means and what it is, so we're not confused of what we're talking about when we're talking to the citizens. Cause it is a big deal and it's gonna have to happen.
It is, because the problem is that the BPA is having to go out and buy power elsewhere because they're not allowed to make as much electricity. So they're having to buy the power and that's what we're trying to get.
That discussion,
Bernard,
but again, I wanna see that as a rate impact. Okay, that's what I wanna see, which is not clear to me now. And for the record, I would like, is it GDS? GDS to be on this meeting. They can be virtual, they don't have to be in person, to walk us through their analysis. So we can ask the hard questions. And like I said, have a defensible rate structure for the citizens that we're representing. Because, I mean, you saw in my email, we've got I've got some legitimate questions that are not clear to me, and I wanna dive deeper into the needs of the electric utility and what the rate should be, so that's all.
But didn't we do that? Did we do that with budget?
But we're dramatically changing that budget. Yes, we did, but now we're like, whoa, we don't have near enough money. Whoa, time out.
You know,
We just adopted a budget.
yes, but we didn't have the foundation. We didn't understand that you didn't go do the rate increase last year, 8.5% power to 19.9% transmission.
Plus,
We didn't know that at the time we did the budget.
plus the penalty.
We skipped a year. We did know we skipped a year, did we not?
No, we were looking at the rates that were in the resolution. We did not
That got
know,
adopted?
they were not, no, the previous administration ignored the rate increase from BPA last year, 8.5% for power, 19% for transmission costs. We are paying those costs since last October.
Right, but we didn't raise the rates. We knew that.
No, you didn't raise the rates, you raised it 1%.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. But we knew we didn't raise what we're supposed to raise.
No, I don't think you did. I think the council didn't know, because Jordan never told you that there was that rate increase.
And the budget probably made an assumption that we did do a rate increase. I mean, there was a bunch of flux that happened.
We just looked at what the sales
Did
were.
Mary Ann have, did you know the answer to this?
No, we took,
I just budgeted what we thought.
we took the
was the
revenue
rate.
that went done for 10 months. We divided it by 10, multiplied it times 12 and put that in the budget.
But that was actual revenue.
actual revenue.
Okay,
And then there was the rate increase.
But the rate, but it wasn't actual costs, because your costs went up.
but that, okay, yeah, I understand that, but the revenue that we were supposed to increase, we didn't do it, and the actuals were shown, hey, you're below that, right?
The revenue you did do was 1%. What you're looking for is the margin.
And that's what we budgeted on,
No, we,
actual revenue.
we budgeted on the revenue. And we didn't budget on the costs, because, well, maybe we did. But that's what we're gonna have to go back and take a look and see what
Again,
the
this
difference
is
was.
what I wanna get my hands around, because they're not right now, not,
Do my best.
thank you. That's
So-
my request. You're telling me,
But I'm just meant Pete.
I'm just a little confused now. I mean, I read the staff report and it all seemed very cut and dry to me.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like it was, I mean, I asked the one question about the 3 and the 8, and I didn't understand that, but it all made sense about the, you know, transmission rate and, the increase, for energy and the decrease in production. And the deferred rate increase and it kind of compounding into this issue. I just don't see the advantage of making this delay. I mean, it's unfortunate, but we deal with fluctuations in energy costs every time we go to the fuel pump. You know, we don't pay the same price for gas. I mean, things have to be a little bit more fluid. And we didn't make these rate increases last year. And now we have the significant increase this year. And I've, you know, I think one thing I've been consistent on is trying to have moderate and conservative forecasting and, you know, more regular increases in price. We don't have these massive price hikes. No one likes it, but we gotta do what's right for the utility. And I just don't see the advantage of waiting any longer. I kind of pulled out the newsletter here too, because one thing I think we gotta be sensitive to is we're putting our new wastewater rates into effect on September 21st. So I just am saying, like, we didn't do anybody any favors by not doing these increases last year. In fact, they're gonna take a bigger hit this year because of it. And the most responsible thing we can do is take action now. We don't like it, but it's the way it is.
Correct, Tiffany, I completely agree with that. We can still have discussion afterwards. And we can reevaluate if you don't agree with it, but and not only in addition to the rates, we also had that penalty we had to pay last year. Which should have been part of the rates because we had to pay that.
Yeah.
Because Bonneville didn't make enough money. Didn't have enough water going through the dam to make the amount of power that they had agreed to sell, so we had to make up the difference, and I mean, ours different.
$32,000.
But that's.
But that's not, no,
But
in
it's not money.
a $3 million revenue budget, no, that's like 1%.
But it
That's
still
nothing.
adds to the cost, that wasn't anticipated.
Not 14%.
Okay, but we didn't have a rate increase last year, so part of this is last year's rate increase and part of it is this year's rate increase. You can't,
Again, that still should be 14%.
well, what do you think it should be?
it
What do
was-
you think-
This is, let me, so according to that GDS report, our tier 1 rates are going up 84% in 26, 27. According to that report, that's what, this I don't believe. That is, there's an error in our math. It shows what base rates below a high water, our base rates going from, I forget the number, but like wherever, 2.5, 3 to like 5 cents a kilowatt hour. In 1 year, it's going up 84%. There's gotta be something off.
I don't,
And I asked, I asked, Gordon, show me, I wanna see the notice from BPA saying our tier 1 rates are going up 84% in 1 year. Please show me this notice, cause that's what the GDS report shows.
So our tier 1 rate is going from based on a high water mark, from 2.56 to 5. Isn't that an?
That's 84%
Yeah,
in 1 year.
yeah, because but it's in our favor.
That's the money that's stuff you get.
That's what we're
That's not
getting.
money, that's your not, that's the amount.
That's the power, that's the high water mark.
Yes, that's
our
not
rate.
rent.
And the rate is per kilowatt and
No, 26, 27.
Yes, is 26, 27. We're going from like 2.56 to 2.65.
That's not what that report showed. I don't have it with me, but I could show it if I did.
But.
Is it this here in this packet?
That report, yes.
So there,
I'll have to look for it, but it's the high water mark that's going up 84%.
And the high water mark is kilowatts, not cents. per
I get that. No, I told it, that's not what I'm saying.
They did for you.
What do you pay them per kilowatt? 3 cents, something like that, or 4?
I think it's going up to 5 cents, and that's why we're going up to 8 cents or whatever it is. Kilowatt.
So 2.56 to 5.
Here we go, page 4.
page 4.
I've got page 4.
Yep, I got it.
Projected Bonneville power costs. Tier 1 plus transmission, okay? Tier 1. 24-25, it's 26.97, which is 2.6. 26-27, 49.62. That's tier 1. It's going up 84%. That's the math. When you go from 26 to 49, you want an 84 for your tier 1. This seems way out of whack.
So they're increasing our high water mark, but also increasing the rate.
No, not right now. I mean, well, later, yeah. Yeah, that's one way to say what's going on, but I mean, I was here for 4 years. NRU would be screaming bloody murder if they tried to take tier 1 rates up 84% in 1 year. There's no way they would allow that.
Okay, that is the transmission cost,
Tier 1 and transmission,
right?
that's what it said.
Tier 1 went from 35,000 down to 16,000.
Where are you seeing that?
Right above the line above that, that's the megawatt hours.
I'm talking about the cost per
I
megawatt.
understand what you're talking about.
Okay,
But because in 26, 27, our tier 1 megawatts were reduced by 52%. But the cost went up, they flipped the cost from the tier 1 to transmission. The transmission cost from 26 to 49. You're right, that's 84%, but it's offset by a 52% decrease in the amount of power that was produced or sold to us. In tier 2, it went the other way around. Tier 2, because we were over our tier 1 watermark, high water mark, our megawatt hours went up 165%. Which means our costs went up 65%, but because we were paying a lower tier 1 rate, it went up $5, $5.47, 8.8%. That was the cost increase, and the 19% cost increase that was ignored in last year's rate increase. That's the difference.
okay, but do you see how total costs in 1 year are going up 75%? Who in this council can explain that? Why are our total costs going up 75% in 1 year?
Politics.
No, that's not.
Politics.
Show me when the math, though. That's not a math. I want a math answer to that.
So
Not a we need a math. Show me a math. Go ahead.
okay, the costs went up because your 1 Bitcoin operator went from 2 trailers full to 4 trailers full. And using 3 megawatts of power at tier 2 levels. That's your cost increase, and you didn't cover it. Because you did raise the rates last year.
Okay, so this is such a good, so again, with further analysis, guys, we might be able to raise the large industrial to cover that and then not raise the residential the same amount. I feel like there's some wiggle room on what we can raise residential as long as we make this, we saw what drove the cost increase. It was a large industrial. Well, let's focus on that and then have some grace for our residential, because we're not driving the cost increase.
So, but you are doing grace for the residential because well, the increase is going up 14%. It could have gone up more, but you're balancing it. You're not raising if you look at you're doing your public 18%. you're trying to, the public agencies and your commercials are going up 18%. Well, the residents are only going up 14%. You are giving them grace. That's because you're raising the rates on the other users, other non-residential users, more than you're raising the rates for the residents.
So my question is, show me how residences draw the cost structure up 14 of the 75%. That's what I wanna know. If that's true, then I'm okay with it, but that's not clear to me right now.
Okay,
I don't know that they did raise it 14%. What I'm saying is it could have gone up more, but because the council asked to balance the rates across where the industrial users and your commercial users are paying more of their fair share, the residence rates didn't go up as much as they should have or could have if you didn't do that balancing, which you did, which you requested.
right, Tiffany. If you had been city administrator last year, how much would our rate increase have been?
8.5% in your power cost, what's the power cost? Your rates and customer would have been 6%, it's about 2/3. The 19.9%, your rate for the transmission costs would have gone up 15%.
We're just making up the difference.
Well, I still wanna see the budget. I wanna see what this budget does. If we make these rate changes, how much more revenue results? And I wanna see that cost. I wanna see all the costs properly balanced. And I don't see that. What's that?
That's what that report does.
But it doesn't talk about, we spend a lot of money on our electric utility besides for power. There's a lot of other things we're spending money on.
Well, okay. It's gonna be skewed again, because up until 5 months ago, you have one employee in the utility for 3 years, 5 years. And now you've got a full staff.
We budgeted 3.
We
So this
budgeted
isn't a
3.
surprise.
So you gotta cover their costs, because the actual cost for the last 3 years or 5 years don't show that in
Yeah.
employment, because it wasn't there. You didn't spend it.
But I'm not.
I think you're about projecting forward, so go, what we have now, what is it gonna look like in the next year, what are the costs, what are our
You wanna see what this rate increase does to our budget
Yeah.
in the future?
Yeah. Yes.
So
I think that's.
although. Okay. I will put these numbers together. But I will fight not to change the budget, you know.
It's,
I'm not proposing to change the budget, to be clear, but when you see these numbers, we should see whether it's gonna create a surplus or we're still gonna be in deficit.
Oh, no, this will
Right.
definitely take you out of the deficit.
So I wanna, that's how much, for example, how much is that gonna take out of deficit? I don't know the answer.
Pete,
So I guess I'm just trying to understand your question, is what, I think what I understand you saying is the budget that we just approved, both on the revenue and the cost, how did we forecast those numbers? What we were based off of, was that the revenue, there's no way we can't, include in the budget a number if we don't have an approved rate increase, right? So the revenue numbers are based off our actuals from last year.
Right,
And the expenses were based off of
the actuals
the actuals.
that we assumed were correct.
So I guess, how could we have done that? We couldn't have done anything different during the budget cycle, because it's gotta be based off of,
Knowledge.
right? You know, it's.
Unless you had a known thing, and I don't, it's not, I'm a little confused on whether we knew these expenses, or the clarity we knew the expenses were coming.
But I think if we're trying to, actually make good on the budget we wrote, we have to make these rate increases, otherwise. Those, the ratio of expenses to revenue is gonna, should stay relatively close to the same, right? I mean, that's our goal. Right, the cost to provide, to purchase the power is going up. Our cost of selling it should also go up at a, comparable rate.
But we didn't know the costs were going up, therefore we didn't raise the budget. Now that we know the costs are going up, we know we have to raise them to increase it, to cover those costs.
And so I guess my question is, what is the, why is, what is the relevancy of discussing our budget? Because it really,
Well, there's
the
two-
budget, but the.
Two things. One, I want further scrutiny on how we disperse these new costs we're getting. Okay, I think there's an argument to be made that more money should be placed on the industrial customers than the residents. But I don't know that for a fact. I think there's an argument to be made that. I want to understand that when I'm approving these rates or these proposed rates, that we're fairly distributing the costs that are being imposed upon us.
Isn't that why we hired you?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's, again, the math doesn't make sense to me. That's what I want to ask you.
So you're saying, don't move forward with the rate increase that was recommended by the company that we hired to provide us their expertise on the rest.
Explain it though, explain it to me.
And it wasn't explained in that?
No, it's not.
All right, Courtney.
Let's say they explain it to you and you're satisfied, what difference will it make?
What if they're wrong?
What difference do you see it making?
If they're right.
I don't wanna go down what
If
ifs.
they're
That's
right,
it.
if they're right, it won't make a difference. Then we're adopting these rates. But if they're wrong, then we might change the rates we adopt.
And so the further we put this off, the more money we go in the hole and the more money we
It's
lose.
1 month. We're not
Yeah.
talking about, guys, it's 1 month. That's not gonna put us in the hole.
We already are in the
The
hole.
real risk is that we're not able to give residents more of a heads up about the.
That's another thing I don't like. I would rather give residents a better understanding what we're about to do.
I mean, could we kind of do both? You know, like, we could say we're gonna probably have to do a rate increase, we don't know what that's gonna look like yet. Could we do a workshop before our next council meeting? Is it possible to get GDS here so we could ask the questions to them directly?
You're a little busy.
Yeah, we've got a special meeting and interviews next week.
Oh, yeah.
So Sherelle. You okay?
I got a question. How long have we been losing men?
It's a broad question.
I mean, now how long?
On electric.
And electric, on the same discussion we're having now.
Since last October.
Since last October, so already we're almost a year in the hole, augmenting rates.
And we hired these guys and asked them. Cause we wanted it to be fair. We wanted South Bank to also pay their share too, right? We wanted the heavy industrial, we wanted it to be. Done right,
Right, and
so.
Are we losing money though? Cause I thought we did the analysis of the cost to buy the power, we looked at how much money the electric utility actually cost.
Our margins have shrunk. I don't know that we're losing.
Yeah, I just wanna clarify that point.
that's my understanding.
Yeah, I mean, we still were profitable, and it's not like we're still
Yes.
making money.
No, sorry, governments do not make a profit.
But our enterprise fund, the electric utility provides funding to the general fund because it is net positive.
It's net positive also because,
No,
yeah,
we take that money whether they make it or not. I mean, we're looking, it's margin, not profit.
I mean, to that question, we can ask our finance director. In 26, 27, we've been operating, well, July, August. Or City Lights revenues exceeding its expenditures.
You
Tell
got,
me that?
you got
You got a
financial,
financial in front of you.
All right.
We have to add, several different.
Are we caught, are we caught up though? I mean.
So no, I'm not caught up.
Yeah, so we're not gonna be able to figure that out.
24, 25, but I got July done of 2026.
Well, I was just asking that very simple question. If you knew off the top of your head.
Oh, I don't know it off the top of my head. I got too many numbers in my head.
yeah. All right, so we have a motion on the floor. To approve resolution 1529, establishing rate for electrical services. The motion was made by Price, second by Coleman. And we've had a lot of discussion.
I would like an amendment if we do move forward with it to look into the lights, the type of, security lights. So that might be an edit we might need to do in the future, but.
yeah, I made note of it, it's.
Yeah, but yeah. Okay, so.
So
She'll look into that.
are we good with moving forward? All right, so I got the motion on the floor by Price, second by Coleman. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Can you raise your hand so I can see the ayes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ayes. So we got 5 ayes and 2 nays.
Well, we haven't asked the
Oh,
question.
oh, sorry. All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
All right, so we got Cramlett and Seeger opposing with 5 yeas. So we have a motion on the floor by Price, second by Calman for approved resolution 1529, establishing rates for electrical rates with 5 yeas and 2 nays. The nays by Seeger and Cramlett. And that motion passes.
But
We will do some investigations
All of that.
Discussion and.
Yeah.
I think,
based on the discussion.
now my paper back to where.
I still like,
Oh.
Do you have one of them for?
at home, yeah.
Okay, I just wanna make sure. All right, so moving on, approve resolution number 1530, supporting RIS grant application for public utilities building.
So the governor announced this rural infrastructure fund. The state has $10 million to give away. And we're asking for 10% of it. We probably won't get it, but you know, if you don't ask, you don't get it. So I'm working with our planner, the grant writer, to develop a proposal to tear down the warehouse that's next to the well field at 104 Herman Creek Lane, which is on the county records was built in 1900, and I don't think that's accurate. But it's falling apart, and it's only like 1,800 square feet. To replace it with a 4,800 square foot, 5-bay, 2-story building that would house our equipment and our inventory, particularly our transformers and offices for the public utilities, water, sewer, electric. I call it the pub building, public utilities building. And what we have to have is a resolution by the council in support of this to make the grant request look a little better. I've earmarked $280,000 of reserve funds to help pay for this structure. And so this, what you're voting on tonight is the next step in this proposal that is due by September 16th into the state. But I need a resolution from you indicating that you approve of this grant request, grant application. Does that make sense? Yes. Now Bernard had a question. The building that we were trying to get in where the substation was, EDA said, don't even ask. So this is in substitute kind of that. And that building needs to be torn down anyway, so if we could get some help tear it down, there's adequate room, we already own it. It's public land, city owns the land. It's a conditional use, but there's already, the building is there, so I don't foresee any issues with the administrative review for the planning. We'd have to look at building permits, but that's with the county, that's not gonna be any kind of thing. It would be a design build, our engineer would do a concept. And the council would come in and approve the design build. We go out to, if we're awarded the grant in October, November, then we can begin the process, and within 2 years, we can have a building out there that will house our public utility. That's what it's a pipe dream, but I'm trying.
Make a motion to approve resolution 1530.
Sorry.
Second. All right.
I second.
I didn't even hear you.
And you're.
He was sorry.
Right here.
Right. All right, we got a motion on the floor by Pruitt, second by Happy to approve resolution number 1530, supporting the RIF grant application for public utilities building. What a mouthful.
Super quick question.
Sure.
If we don't get the grant, this is all the citizens applying for the grant.
That's correct.
Yes.
So,
That's
thank you.
correct. Now, you know. One other thing, like, if we don't get the grant, should we borrow $1 million? And get the building, because our transformers need to be inside, our equipment needs to be inside now. Is there sufficient margin in our water, sewer, street, property funds, electric funds that could pay for a bond or a loan. Loan, loan interest rates right now from the state, Business Oregon are about 5%. $1 million over 10 years is like $20,000 a month. Maybe not feasible, but maybe we're gonna have to do something like that. We have got to protect our equipment better. But let's see what happens with this.
I like this a whole lot better than 20.
You know, and maybe they come back with, well, we give you 500,000. So, we don't know. But I'm fighting.
All right. Did you have your hand up, Tom? No, no, all right, Bernard.
So for the state administrator, this is kind of a nuanced question, but what did your experience tell you about the ask? Part of me says if you ask for less, you might have a better chance of getting it versus making a big chunk. And the only reason I say that is because I've been using AI a lot. I have a subscription to Claude, and I asked them what would it cost to build. I said a 6-bay, or how many bay facility you said, with climate control and it didn't come up with 1.2 million. It came up with like $500,000-$600,000.
The Bike the Gorge building, that 4-bay building, which is about the same size, was $990,000. That's where I came up with the $1 million.
Okay.
And I tell you,
Where you're building it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I told them that it's in Oregon, and I said, we own the land, right? So, I don't know.
and if I could build it for a whole lot
A
less,
steel building, to be clear. That's
yeah,
what-
steel insulated.
Yes,
And climate
kind of like
control.
a fire station, but for
Yeah.
public utilities.
Yeah, well, how much was a fire station?
1.7.
Which
Yeah,
also,
But there's a fire station, it's not this.
no, it's correct.
It's a
You're
much
correct.
more advanced building. So that's not a fair
No,
comparison.
but if you look at page 3 of this little, addendum that you typed up, I mean, the Bike the Gorge, I think are very comparable.
Yeah.
That's real numbers, building a steel structure in Cascade blocks, same dimensions.
Pretty close. So, and the price, that was this year's price, next year is gonna be different, but. That's what I grounded $1 million on, and Bernard's right, that's why I put in a 10% contingency, I put in costs for legal and McKed to do because anything over $100,000, that McKed has to do the grant administration for it, the planning, all that stuff. And so I felt like a 28% match, $280,000 makes that a nice, attractive. Hey, they're putting in 28%, we'll put in
That's why you picked the 1 million.
that's why
I
I'm doing
understand.
it.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions, discussion? All right, so I have a motion on the floor by Pruitt, second by Happy, to approve resolution number 1530, supporting an RIF grant application for public utilities building. All in favor, say yay. Aye. Yeah. I wrote yay here, that's what happened. Any opposed, say nay. All right, so the motion was by Pruitt, second by Happy, to approve resolution 1530, supporting the RIF grant application for public utilities building, and we have 7 yays or ayes and no nays, so it passes.
Thank you.
And moving on. Determine city, the LOC priorities. We decided to save time and stuff. If you have this in your packet, if you check the 5 top things that you want, and then Gordon will take this information and he'll bring it back to us at the next meeting once he compiles all the information with what your priorities are for the LOC.
so we put our name on it.
You can put your name on it, or?
Yes, please do, so I know who to bug when they don't send it to me.
Oh, okay, so there's. So yeah, just mark the 5 you want and then give it to Gordon.
Or if you wanted to go home and tell me what it is in an email, you can do that way too.
I'll say the question marks are one that I'm not adverse to, but it wasn't one of my
And
topics.
so what I'll do is I'll compile all this and I'll bring it back and you can see who voted or not who voted for what got voted for. And then you can approve those 5 or amended if you wanna persuade somebody to do something.
Would it be okay to rank them and then maybe pick 7? So then you'll see, I know what his top 5 is, but maybe some my global ones overlap with them, see what I'm saying?
Just, you
Kind of like rank choice voting.
mark it the way you feel you need to mark it and we'll just
Okay,
try to,
well, that's what I'm gonna do, just for you guys. Right.
you know, but art gets more.
It's not always working.
Always working it.
Rank them.
40%.
He's our needy child.
All right, reports and presentations. You guys have a tourism report in your packet.
I've got a question about it.
Yes.
There was a mention of tourism can't sell swag.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Last page on the back, 9C.
I had it exactly highlighted.
I was not at that meeting. I don't know what they're talking about. Generally swag is a giveaway and not for sale. Because again, we're not a for-profit institution. This is the front handout of PCT days. Those kinds of things. We don't sell it to the hikers.
So, shares with the committee why tourism cannot sell swag.
Is that what I said?
That's what this says.
Chair Patrick.
Patrick, yes, yeah, not you.
No, I was not gonna say, I wasn't there.
I would like to understand what they're interpreting and how they're interpreting that. Because if that's a missed form of revenue for them, I don't want them to miss out on that because there's a misunderstanding.
Okay, I will have the legal counsel review that.
Thank you.
Hopefully in budget for the revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we're only buying like $2,500 worth of swag and how, you know, we can sell that. Most, but we give it away. We don't sell it.
The acronym for swag is stuff we all get. Somebody just told me this the other day. I'm like, oh,
Like, and you go to the conference and it's like they're giving this stuff we all get.
Yeah.
Freebies, chapstick and pens. Right.
Then you have to worry about, you know, who has the money and.
Yeah,
Tax
tracking that.
Internal
You know,
controls.
Oh, yeah, and then you got a
I have
whole.
a finance director would go absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
I agree.
Trying to,
Unless there's policy. in place.
Make our life easier.
so we're trying to make sure the visitor center is open and operating, and it was open today and operating, and I'm gonna take a shift next week on the 1st. So they're gonna be seasonal, but it is open, so if you hear rumors in town that it's not open and all of this, they are opening it up. Heidi was in there today volunteering her time. And she will be volunteering every Monday, so they're ironing out the kinks, but they're getting it, so.
Sorry, we'll check out the minutes.
Okay. All right, so city administrator report, and what I'll do is after each one, you can see if anybody has a question.
I'll pause.
Okay,
But you guys better be quick.
okay,
It's almost, past my bedtime.
all right.
So 220 Benson, there's no update.
All right,
Go. Audit update. The information for 23-24 audit has been submitted to the auditors. They have responded with some questions. We're working on answering those questions. We've begun the gathering the information for 24-25 audit. We've also balanced the July 2026 bank statement. With that balanced bank statement, you have a financial report. Do not trust the beginning fund balance numbers because they're not there. We don't know what they are and we won't know until we get our audits caught up. And because we don't have the beginning fund or the beginning fund balances out there, we don't know how to distribute the interest. So the interest that we earn on our local government investment pool is also not distributed because we don't know where it goes. So, but for July costs and revenues, it is accurate. Thank you, Mary.
yes.
Now you get a yay.
Okay, but were you finished reading that?
Yeah.
Did you have a question?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, so. Thank you for all the excellent work. So what is are we still on track? To have the 25-26 audit done by January?
That's our plan.
That's our plan.
That's what I'm trying to guide.
Okay,
I really
but
am.
you still see a pathway to that outcome?
Now that I've finished 23, 24, I know what I'm looking for. And I will tell you that after I've done some looking, it's the same thing,
The same problem.
Same
Same
mistakes.
problem, the holding account is being used 100%. And so I've gotta go back and find all of those things, so
Right,
it's not, it hasn't got any better, but at least I know what I'm looking for.
situational awareness is
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah,
Okay. But again, it's August, I mean,
I understand that.
it's not much time to the end of the
I
year.
get it.
So, again, if you need help, that's why I ask these questions. You think
I've
you
got-
get this to there by
I've got
January?
staff here that's helping me, Elena and Carrie are helping me. And so I'm just, it just takes time, I don't know what else to tell.
I understand, but, okay,
But in addition to that, if we don't make it, we're not gonna miss it by much. And we have, like in November, we can ask for a extension. Which hopefully they'll grant because they will have had 3 audits from us this year. So, again, it's our target. And we've got the power to get there, so.
I do have a question, Pete.
I did, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
no, that's all I had, thank you.
So tonight we talked about the grant, the fact that we've also talked about being behind on our grants and how that negatively affects grant applications. So I think that's.
This is a state grant, not a federal grant. And
Sure, that doesn't apply.
there was no audit requirement in the grant application.
Thanks.
Thank you, good question.
Moving on.
Water system improvement project, the water pipes under Wheeler and Sunset Street have been completed, they're now being tested. And service connections will begin this week. And then they're starting the process for Venture Street. Then after that's all done, the paving will come in and we'll pave all 3 streets, plus we're getting a quote on paving the parking lots around City Hall.
Nope. We good?
Thank you.
Oh, I want, so,
We gotta be quicker.
so last time you reported out on this, you said a budget or whatever, I think we budgeted 241,
Right,
but this is gonna cost more because of something.
right.
So do we know the new cost?
We've not yet, the change notices aren't incomplete. Some of the things we've changed have actually reduced our costs. Some of the things have changed to increase the cost, so that's a balance. But it's way less than the 10% that somebody asked for.
All right, I'm happy to hear that.
All right.
Okay. EDA hardening project, the project is out to bid. Alan and I had a very successful meeting today with Vantage Point, our engineers. We're making some changes to it, so it's gonna be a better project. And we're not worried about the budget because with the 1.2 million that we're not being able to do with the purchasing of the 20 megawatt transformer, $240,000 to transport it from South Dakota. We're using that money in other parts of the scope of work. So we'll be undergrounding the power through Snyder's property to the Forest Lane. The power lines that are currently coming out of Pyramid and going around to the west of the building, those will be removed because they'll be replaced by power lines, higher capacity power lines going down the holes in the front of Snyder's property. Just little things like the engineers had spec'd out a 12 by 12 cement transfer box with a manhole access, which would have required us to do the confined space. We don't do confined space, so we talked them into changing that to a 7 by 13 foot 3-panel opening so that we can get in and do the work that we need to do in that particular space. So just little things like this. Alan's knowledge really helped, hone this project so that it does do what we want it to do as much as we can do without. For example, we're requiring them to upgrade the Cascade Lock substation from 6 megawatts to 8 megawatts by adding fins and fans to make it could be able to produce or process more 8 megawatts of power. So if we need to, we can run the city off of that transformer while we refurbish current.
Excellent.
So we're doing those kinds of things. The bid will be delayed a week. But because we've made so many changes today, it's gonna take the engineers some time to reflect on that and to make those changes. But the people that we have talked to that are interested in bidding appreciate the clarity that's coming on. So anyway, that's was a very positive meeting today. We're moving forward with that. Any other questions? My electrical gal took off. In case you didn't know, part of our roof is gone. Starting today. It should be completed in the next couple of weeks. We chose a gray asphalt shingle because it was available and in stock. If you wanted color, it would have delayed the project. We didn't get it. Sir,
So they've gotten a first look how to look on there.
I have not talked to them since they started tearing stuff off. I will tell you, it's very noisy in our offices.
Yeah, yeah.
It's banging away as they.
Needs to be dry this winter now.
It's noisy in the park.
Yeah,
I can hear it in the park.
There you go.
yeah.
But it's, I'm thrilled that we've started. So it's only 52,000 of the $100,000 that we have budgeted for that. I did ask the city engineer to, look at the bridge at the entrance to City Hall back here. That was a temporary fix, it's supposed to last 180 days. It's now been up for 2 years. So we may be able to come back to you and say, for this amount of money, we can improve our access to the rear. Don't know yet, still working on that.
Pete's got a question.
Pete,
I was just thinking, as they're doing all that work over there, could we get rid of the foundation for those satellite dishes? They're kind of nice, we're on the building there, the concrete.
oh, for when we replace the bridge?
Yeah.
Well, no, we're gonna make a nice meandering thing over there. It's gonna.
Corridor.
Just a thought, is that if they're bringing in equipment to work over there, if they can demo those and get them out of here.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll guarantee you.
Good timing on the roof place, does.
Mhm.
August, second time to get it done.
Yeah. He should be done in 2 weeks. McCord Creek, no update. Just keep driving by and take a look. That's all I can tell you. No update on Ruckle Creek slide either. For that contractor. Fire hall microgrid bid, microgrid project. The request for proposal for the project is published August 31st with a response date by October 1st. And we have 2 years, that's all funded by the Department of Energy grant to put the microgrid battery storage on the fire hall that Bernard did.
And not by myself, a lot of other folks. Thank
Team leader.
you. That's right.
Number 9, the plastics in the water. The first sampling was taken May 27th. We just received the test results for those potential plastics on our water system. None were found. So we have to take another sample in October and we are hoping for the same result. If that result is not the same, then we will be back to you trying to figure out how much money we have to spend to take the plastics out of the water.
That's great. That's
Another
nationwide.
Another yay.
Yeah.
Another, that's it, right? So, number 10, LOC conference registration. We have $5,000 budgeted. The registration cost is $550 when you add in travel and accommodations. It's gonna be about $1,000 a piece. So 5 out of the 7 of you can go to LOC conference. If you wanna go online or cities.org and register.
Oh, what's the process of getting approval for that? Just the mayor?
You can go.
First five raise our hand.
Yeah.
1,
I already got a scholarship, so I'm not spending any money there.
2, okay, so we got 6 out of them.
Yeah, you got,
And as,
It's October 15th and 17th at the Salem Convention Center. The 17th is a breakfast and business meeting. You don't have to go to that if you don't want to.
if no one's going, no, if you don't have 5, I'll go, since I didn't go to the mayor one.
I might.
Well, again, if you wanna go register.
Yeah.
On there, you tell them to bill the city. And when they ask the PO number, they want a PO number. What should they tell
Maybe hand bump.
Yeah, don't tell everybody.
Yeah.
Whoop.
I don't have.
I think
numbers,
Kathy is
but a PO number of 10.
Oh,
them?
yeah.
Kathy's going as well, she's registered.
I don't know, what do you got PO number?
You're gonna go.
But she comes out of a different budget line.
I'm just saying, and so that's a,
250 something?
well, the one room's gonna be needed for.
Okay,
Oh, there you go.
okay, that's good.
And I am also going with the idea that whoever's hired can go at my place. So I'm registering.
All right, that comes out of a different fund too.
Yeah, that's a city administrator expense.
And then is our fund vacant? I mean, then we don't have any more funds.
We have 5,000
For
budgeted
council.
For
for
council.
council only.
We still got another half year budgeting.
Yeah, but you know, if you gotta go to the spring conference, it's on your own.
Yeah, okay. So we have to go online and register.
Yes, or cities.org.
And do they ask for payment when you register or?
Tell them to bill the city.
Yeah,
Okay.
it has a thing where you can check, go ahead.
Is there a problem for counselors or at the LOC conference?
No,
Not unless we.
No, because you will not be discussing business, will you?
no, I mean, not
That's,
necessarily.
yeah,
Yeah, you don't talk city business.
Yeah.
Then you're outside your jurisdiction, so, you know.
Policy.
All right,
And finally, the council last May authorized me to hire a full-time public works employee. Hunter Martin will start next Monday. So we'll be back to a full crew with Sheldon and Martin.
all right,
I
Tiffany.
don't have a question on that, but can you possibly add to your report the meetings you go to? So that we can see what you're doing, so that we can kind of get an idea of what the expectation is for. The city administrative thing. I mean, can you just add, like you went to the electrical utilities sort of meeting and, or, things. Meetings different meetings that can. Well, it would just be nice to see, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm seeing how much paper I can put on there.
Bernard first.
Yeah, I was gonna say respectfully, he's here for like a month or two.
Yeah.
I'd say relieve him of that expectation, but our new guy, after gal, is gonna, I guess, we had one drop out, didn't we?
We,
Okay, anyway, the new person, yes, 100%, but that's my request.
And again, and I'll make sure he knows all the meetings that he's supposed to go to, like the Oregon Municipal Electric Utilities, the Public Power Council and all.
Counties.
County, yeah, right,
yeah,
Or.
sure.
all right, Courtney.
Presumably, excuse me, this new city administrator will have the same email,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And then access to the calendar,
exactly.
and they'll be able to look through all the previous stuff and catch up on all the emails. It'll be the exact same email,
Which is nice.
all of the information they need.
But she's saying something. Go ahead.
Yeah, on that note though, are you all still getting notices from our previous city administrator that we're having council meetings? Did that get resolved yet?
It's kind of resolved. I haven't gotten one in a couple weeks
Okay. Okay.
myself, because I used to get, because I had a weekly meeting with him, so I'd always get the invite.
Right.
And I think it's been resolved because I haven't gotten one in a few weeks, because I kept asking for that, so I'm assuming.
Sorry, this isn't really on the report, but it is about the position-based emails. Have all the city email addresses been transitioned from domain-based to position-based?
Just as they're filled.
Just as they're filled.
Yeah.
And then I guess, can you explain how that would work? So like if someone, like, let's say.
I came back.
Was that,
My old email was geez, everybody at Cascade
Yes.
Box. Usually it was the first letter, your first name, your last name, and CascadeBox.org.us. I came back and made them do city administrator at CascadeBox.org.
but is the existing email address, is that the email address, then that account is just changing to that? So I guess,
No,
because there's
you-
one that continuity.
No, you,
Well, that's.
you can forward the old emails, like I still get Jordan's email. that are sent to him. It comes up on my other account. So I could still see.
I see, so the transition plan for those going forward would be that the old email address would be not removed, it would just be forwarded to the.
No, because the old email address is, or the current email address, city administrator is.
No, I'm talking about the position, the name-based ones.
Oh, yes, they would be forwarded to the new position.
Thank you, they just have to remember to read those emails.
No, they pop right up on your,
Yeah.
on your list.
Yeah.
So.
That's the way it's supposed to work, yes.
Yes, the way, that was nice.
Thank you.
All right, so city administrator reports done. Mayor and city council comments, Bernard.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Just a few things here. So I gave the mayor a heads up, but regarding our hiring, I'm not gonna talk names, but I did want to add a feature to their visit, and that is a test. And the test that I'm contemplating is we give them an issue like electric rates, but we don't have to do electric rate, we do something easier. We ask them to develop a staff report as if you were the city administrator and show council and our expert panel, show them your work. How would you take on this issue as a new administrator? You get to do your research, all the rest of it, et cetera, and then we get to examine them kind of in a real world issue. And we did that, we hired the city attorney way back when. It was, I think, an excellent exercise to both get their understanding of their analysis, but also in their place it was cost, we were billing by the hour. How much would that project, this analysis cost us as a city? And we're gonna compare you to anybody else who proposes. So we learned a lot about our clients then, our potential candidates. And I think we made a better decision on who to hire. So we did that in many jobs, both in Gresham and Cascade Locks. I think it's a very effective tool to help us better get to know our candidates. So I'd like to, I don't know if you just.
I'm gonna give you a little update. I reached out to Rob after our conversation, just so I could give some insight, so we don't have to put it off for 2 weeks, because I have to tell you all of it at the same time. He said that because the schedule and everything has already been done, it wouldn't, having them do like a presentation on the staff report or anything.
No,
that
just
wouldn't
the
make.
staff report.
So he says an example of their written presentation skills, like something that they've done, not necessarily to do with Cascade Locks, but a presentation staff report that they've done in their current position for us to look at would be real easy to ask. Because everything's already been planned, and I mean, they've got booklets, Kathy's gonna be printing probably tomorrow and all that, like, they've got it down to a T. What rooms and all that, I mean, cause you'll get to see a staff report, it's just not gonna be from Cascade Locks.
That's not gonna be as valuable, I promise you.
I understand that, but it's like kinda late in the game too, cause they are. Cause he's like, we could figure something else if this is important. Since we've set the schedule, we wouldn't be able to have the candidates make a presentation unless you want to change it. That means pushing things out and doing things. If you're wanting to see an example of their written presentation skills, we could ask them to submit a copy of a report they submitted in their
I
job.
understand that, yeah.
This way, it's reflective of an actual report as opposed to them creating the perfect presentation.
Again, I'm not requesting a presentation, I'm requesting them take one of our issues. We've got an agenda planner, say, we're gonna be working on this, build us a staff report, and we get to look at it. There's no presentation, we review it as part of our due diligence. And we get it, cause you want them to do our community, cause then they'll like, do they understand the unique things that apply to Cascade Locks?
Right.
Very different than a city in Colorado or, yeah,
Right.
wherever, right.
Right.
So the object is to see their writing skills.
Yeah.
Communication.
And like I said, understanding of local government.
Well, if they're already working in a local government, they understand local government, number one. Number two, you already have an application, which is an example of their writing skills.
That's not why I wanna see them do a staff report. that apply to Cascade office.
Well,
That's asking a lot.
I like the idea of it,
It's a
had this
stick.
conversation a month ago, you know, like, I think that I think it's,
Yeah.
I think the more you can make them jump to, the better our hiring decision's gonna be. I think we've got a very rigorous kind of process for reviewing people, and I'm glad that we have, you know, everything in place I do. I think it's a great suggestion, I just wish that we thought of.
I wish we would have thought of it before.
To be fair, I did ask for a city administrator report with the original set of questions, so. It happened.
So we could get a sample of.
That's a consolation prize.
I mean, that way we're getting something,
Yeah, I think if we could do that, that's better than nothing, it doesn't.
cause I don't wanna slow down the process or do any of that stuff.
yeah, you probably won't get it before you ever do. I don't know how quickly they get.
Well, that's why Rob was suggesting that we get a sample of something that they've already done.
How about we give them the option? We say, take an existing staff report and provide us to demonstrate your work, or we give them an issue and they do it for Cascade Water. Then they have then they can overachieve, and see who's go-getter.
Prior to the interview,
Yeah,
have Prothman ask them to do that now.
yeah,
Between now and the interview,
yeah.
Which is.
and the day of it, they got 10 days. They
To
got 2 weeks.
reschedule their week to make sure that things are taken care of at home while they go out of town. It's a big ask, I would rather just, it's not my turn to speak, sorry.
You're okay. All right. So I'll see what I can do,
Please.
but at the very least, a consolation prize will be a sample of something that they've already done, okay?
Okay, but
But I'll see what Rob
to
can
expect by this council.
Yeah, they may, we keep requesting stuff, they may be like. So, did you have
Okay,
more?
yeah, a couple other things.
Okay,
So, I was here for PCT days. By and large, I felt like it was a little better than last year. That's just my personal opinion. I don't have any facts behind that, but it just seemed to be a better run event. I would, as someone who's in charge of litter picking up around here, they did a litter pickup around town, but they didn't do any coordination. And I wanna talk to someone in tourism, whoever the point of contact is for the event, that we pre-coordinate that, cause I would have loved to say, go here, go there, go there. And that would have been a more productive application of the resources. I feel like they cleaned up the areas that I cleaned up, and it's pretty clean out there, so something to work on. But all in all, I think it was a great event, and glad we're representing those folks. As a side note, I live on Regulator, and I've had 6 new people move to town on my neighborhood.
Wow.
Some of them are buying properties, some of them are renting. But it's pretty exciting because we don't always get new folks. And I just want to share with you guys, I have a tradition, anytime someone new comes in, I invite them for a cooked meal and I try to get to know them and be neighborly. Generally, I think that serves well, it's like when you bump into the streets, like you're not familiar, you're not strangers anymore. And looking forward to do that with our new residents in town. Let's see. On my Scotch broom work, I actually got a recruit with me. He's coming out there a couple of days a week for a couple hours. Our power has doubled and our progress is doubling. So, we're making great work out there. And it's exciting to get that thing done. The last thing I'll say is, it is hot and dry out there. I'm terribly worried about a fire happening like Labor Day, like it did in 2017.
Yeah.
So, please be fire wise, everyone. Just tell your friend we have to be very vigilant in avoiding another wildfire event, so thank you.
thank you, Bernard. Courtney,
I don't have a lot to add tonight.
all right, thank you for being here, Tom.
The cleaning up of the roads, are we doing that, where the blackberries are going and,
Yeah.
I'm sure they're gonna be working on
there's
this.
cleaning up going on, where are we doing that? I mean, it looks good.
I'm sure they are, they're doing some, we're trying to get a mower so we can go, a tractor mower so that we can go down the gutters and do those types of things a little easier. But right now it's on my hands. You talking on Wanapa or you talking on?
I'm talking about Moody, Moody, you know, you go around the corner and the freeway there, all that blackberry, they're all gone.
Wow.
I don't think we did it.
And it looks like they cleared both sides of the road of brush up. Okay, so that's not something we did, and it looks, those are the type of things we need to do.
Yes.
Because-
Well, you know, now that we're gonna be having full
So
room,
whoever's doing that, yeah, good too.
That all-
So, yeah, my thing is, I agree with, there's. Our problem is that since this 2003 fire, since all the different fires we've had on here, the 15, the one down, everything has grown thicker than it was before the fire. So there's certainly a potential, if something gets started, it's gonna roar through some of these areas. So, yeah, hopefully people are careful to get, when we get through the season. That's it.
Thank you, Tom. Sherelle?
I was gonna plug LOC conference. The agenda looks fantastic. A lot of, folks from small cities, large cities all over, Oregon. Be a great opportunity to learn and, network with other officials and employees. Yeah, I was just gonna plug that and encourage you guys to go if you can. I've never been to one, but looking forward to it, and it just looks great. And I also just wanna say, I appreciate the conversation around the electrical rate study. It's not something to take lightly, and it's a big deal to make these decisions, increase rates on our citizens, but it's something that we have to do to meet the cost of doing business, and I think the conversation we had was good, and look forward to the years to come and managing those rates long-term for all of our utilities. So we're not fighting this every year, every 2 years, or every 3 years. I really hope the council makes a goal to just look at this, looking out, and then make it a goal to keep on top of it every year.
Yeah.
And stay on top of it. That's all I have.
Thank you, Sherelle.
Well said, Sherelle. I think it's really important, it doesn't do anybody any good to just ignore the problem, kick the can down the road, because then the problem just gets bigger. And then we have to make that adjustment, and it actually hurts more. So, 100% agree with that. And I think we did have a big discussion all around. I always appreciate the different insight everybody brings to these issues. We need to debate these topics. It helps me understand them better. And I hope that residents and anybody else that's listening, when we're, see the debate and the deliberation that goes into these decisions, that they're not just made without any thought. So, agreed. PCT days, it's my 3rd year volunteering at the bag check at Thunder Island, which I thoroughly enjoy every year. And I had, one of the PCT actors came up and said, just how much they appreciate how the city just opens their doors and just really welcomes them. And that's not the case in other places. And she told us a story about trying to get a hotel room, and they wouldn't give her a hotel room. They had a vacancy, but they would not.
Yeah.
They told her, oh, you're gonna wash your socks in the sink.
Yep.
She's like, I'm not an animal, I might use the bathtub, but but it was really heartwarming way that she just appreciated how everybody in town, just like they welcome them, we throw this big party for them, and they really appreciate it. So I thought that was nice to hear, and it's not necessarily, I was surprised to hear it wasn't that way everywhere they go. So, street light I mentioned to you on, heading up the hill up on Winsome, that's been fixed, so thank you very much. I don't know how long ago that was taken care of, but,
about 2 days after you asked.
okay, well, it's nice to see that working again. It was the only one out in our neighborhood, so I'm glad to see it's fixed and working again, so.
I'm glad you noticed.
What's that?
I'm glad you noticed.
Yeah, took me a while. That's all I got.
Hey, thank you, Pete. Tiffany?
I have, some, do we have block cameras operating in town?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, somebody said that they thought that for the transportation study that we had block cameras
It
operating.
wasn't flock cameras,
Yeah.
it was just cameras counting cars. It was not the.
It wasn't
Okay.
blocked.
Okay, because everybody's like up in arms, and I'm just like, I don't know, nobody's told me anything. It's just, it's one of those words that nobody likes right now. Speaking of cleanups, I'm wondering, how the litters are going, because we still, the weeds that were whacked at the bottom of Tahoma and Moody. are coming back over the railing. I mean, it's just, they've never been cut down. Part of it got cut, the part around the store kind of got cut, but then right there on Moody, up around to Tahoma, wherever that starts, is awful. And then even down at the bottom of the hill here at City Hall, you got.
Again, we've only got two guys. And we've been limited in what we've been able to do. We've done some, but now that we're gonna have a third guy, we hopefully we can pick up space.
But some of those are not our responsibility. I mean,
No, like the Moody to Homa one isn't, but City Hall definitely is.
yeah, and then, next to the fire department,
That's the board.
yeah, that's for, that, I mean, yeah. Also, I'm wondering, talking on, PCT days, is there any way, I know that the driveway to the school is not city property, it's, but can we petition them to paint one side of that red? Because again, PCT days, you had cars parked on both sides of the road, and if we would have had a fire at the school building, our fire apparatus would not have been able to get in. So it was an issue last year, still an issue this year.
Fire apparatus would get in.
Well, they'd have to push things, but it would damage, it would happen with damage. I would wanna say that the one that was painted on regulator
Talking about School Street, putting the red curb on us.
on one side or the other, just to keep it so that people won't park on it, because I have to say the one on regulator has been very nice. There's not been people parking on both sides of the road, and I'm surprised people are respecting the red curb. So, I mean, it just should be, I feel, something that we could petition the school to do. Also, do we know if we're gonna get TLT? Because the numbers that I was told for campers was we had 300 plus on Thursday, 500 plus on Friday, and 600 plus campers on Saturday.
Fee, they pay a fee to camp in with?
Yes.
$10.
No, it's $10 on Thursday night, $20 on Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah, no, we'll get it to you.
$20,000.
I mean,
That's a substantial.
yeah, and the guy, I mean, I don't know, we didn't get it last year, we haven't gotten it any time up to this point, so it's an angst of mine. I mean, we have they should be paying the TLT.
How do we know we didn't get it last year?
Jordan told us we didn't get it. So. And
And
it
the
was,
only way that you would know whether you got it,
code
you
limits.
get a report
State, right?
every 3 months from the state.
It's quarterly.
It's quarterly.
so,
We,
but we were told we didn't get any last year from the campers. So,
I'd have to look to see what our report says.
I don't know. Yeah,
yeah,
Mary Ann can look, cause I don't, yeah.
Don't they have to be registered as a?
Yes, they have to be registered, and if they're not registered, they won't get it.
I don't
the
think.
port is registered TLT collector.
Is the port, was the port in charge of that?
No, the port's not in charge of it, that's part
Yeah,
of
they're not.
Jason,
Jason, yeah.
yeah. So that's part of that's where the system breaks down. I feel like the port should be enforcing it first, and then the city should be enforcing it, but the port doesn't seem interested in doing it.
Okay, so what were those numbers? The Thursday, 300?
Thursday was 300 plus, Friday at 500 plus, Saturday 600 plus, and then Thursday night is $10 a head, and then the other 2 nights is $20. So,
I'll send them a bill.
yeah. I mean, I can tell you who to ask for the exact numbers, but, I think Bernard had a question.
No, I just, yeah, I know the port isn't registered,
Yes.
cause they have a campground, right? So there's no reason they couldn't. Annotate that revenue and then pay the TLT, I mean.
But who was renting the Thunder Island out to the campers for PCT days? It's not more than a little campground, it's part of the event.
Yeah, but it's still,
So the port, I don't think the port actually received the money from the campers.
No.
So it would be fair of them to pay the money, so if Jason, the coordinator of PCT Days, is the one that received it, then it would be.
So the port doesn't, they do that island for free, is that,
I'm pretty sure.
They charge Jason for it, I'm sure. they
Yeah, I'm
charge
sure
Jason
there's
for it,
something.
But then he charges for that.
And last year we had this discussion and I think it brought Jason into one of our meetings to have a discussion right back, but it still.
No.
We had,
He didn't come down
Well, some-
because I tried to get him to come down. And
okay.
they don't debrief with the city.
I got pushback from somewhere, I don't remember where it was, but I did get pushback from somewhere, but I think that we really need to figure that out because we're losing revenue. And it's a big event that clogs the town and I'm not saying it's a bad event, but it's a big event. So those are the two issues that I see, the road to the school. And because that was an issue last year as well. Also, thank you for your comment on the USPS, in the USPS article. That's been a long time working. I think I got contacted several months ago that they were looking into that. It's been a big issue of mine as far as knowing, once I found out that North Bonneville gets their post office
For free.
for free, why are we paying? And I mean, when we first moved in, it was $12 a month and now we're paying 80.
82, I think.
For 6 months, for a year, 6 months, I think it's just, yeah, it's just ridiculous, and I don't understand. They just walk over and put it in a box, but yet if you live on the other end of town, you get it delivered for free, I mean, that uses resources, that doesn't, I mean, it has never made sense, so. It would be, is there something that the citizens have to do to be able to? Do they have to fill out that form, that form? How do we find that? Do you know?
If you live further than a mile from the post office, you can put a mailbox in. They will not deliver to side streets if it's not on their normal route. So for example, if somebody lives on Sunset, they would have to put a box on
They said a cluster
Forest.
A cluster box.
And they would deliver to that, and that would be free, but you have to live further than a mile from the post office.
Right, but those of us who live near the post office have to pay to have our mail delivered. Otherwise we don't get it, and if it's not addressed just right, it goes back. I mean, we got
Right, it does.
No, it does, we got
Well,
a ticket,
yeah,
we
no,
got
I've
a
been
ticket
there.
one time that went through
Got that
all the way
t-shirt.
through the court process. Before we even knew we even
And
had.
But
that's-
every postmaster, it seems to change too.
Yes,
And
that's
that's a federal rule that they're supposed to be abiding by. To ask them not to would be unfair. Now, whether a postmaster decides to follow that rule or not, that's their own job that they're putting in their own hands.
Understood, but I appreciate that, and I hope we can, dig into it. And I like this, the Firewise gonna be on the next, that's really great, I like that, that's, especially, I think, needed. With that also though, is there a legal obligation to provide electricity to people who depend on electricity for life-saving devices?
Yes.
Do we have a register of some sort? How do we know who those people are?
You were there. We just, knowledge, it's just.
I know, just from my experience in other than the city of Gresham, we can't even get, ours is water, we turn off water, we don't have electricity. So we require, doctor's note, there's no vetting or anything, it's, we don't have a real policy in place.
Here,
For city of Gresham, it's a sticky wicket and you have to be, like hospitals, for one, you can't, right? And if they don't pay their bill, you can't turn off the hospital because there's life support, but I'm not sure what the state.
The life support, we have to give them a minimum enough power to run their life support equipment. We can't shut them off.
but how do we know?
You
that
can
they-
put a limiter on the meter though.
Yeah, yeah. They have to tell.
So do we have a form system? Do we have a system that where they can file a form of some sort? Should we?
Actually, Carrie knows most of them. I mean, we know who they are. But, I don't know how they're registered or not.
That's one of the things I was working with, Charles Young, the ex-county emergency management guy on, is that we have better systems in place for emergencies and stuff, and this is one of the things that we don't know, the people that can't get out of their house or the ones that are on oxygen. I mean, we need to do better in all that area, but it's more than.
So maybe that's something we can kind of.
There's a CPAP, like,
Or oxygen, I mean, yeah. I mean,
Oh my God.
Well, people that are on insulin, their refrigerators are pretty important to keep their insulin cold.
But there's also, I mean, electricity goes out.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that too, but, so maybe we can look into seeing what other towns do or how we can set up a registry of some sort, and I don't know, I just. Sorry, it's always work, I know, I'm sorry.
I may ignore that, but go ahead.
You just. I just think it's important, and it's important to, I mean, maybe it could just be simple, something as simple as when they sign up, you know, if you have. Like,
Well, except, circumstances change all the time, but it's the
Yeah.
people's responsibility.
I get that, but we could make it easier by having a registry of some sort where they could register that they have such a need.
But when the need goes away, do they have to come in and tell us the registry to take us on?
Yeah.
I'll go you first.
I would just caution that there needs to be a policy in place before you advertise.
Yes.
It's because.
Yeah.
You have to be fair and equitable and if you, so-and-so says you can't turn off electricity because of this, but there's no certification required, there's gotta be a.
No, I agree, we need some sort of policy, that's, yeah.
Courtney.
I agree that we can't have a single point of failure, saying, Carrie knows them.
Bernard.
I agree with all those comments, but help me remember, in our system in Gresham, can't you put a do not turn off? You can do a little,
Yeah,
check a box.
Yeah.
That when it comes to turn off, you get a special, this person has special needs, you can't turn. I would imagine Cassell,
Cause no, we already have one of them on it.
Okay, so there's features in the software to do what you're saying, but we need to do a policy first.
Yeah.
I agree, okay, so
Okay.
there we go, we need a policy.
Is there any HIPAA requirements?
That would be my question.
And I would look at the state laws or some HIPAA laws or something, because you have to,
If we have
because if you got people's personal information and all that, I mean,
medical information.
yeah.
Yeah.
Stored in our computer.
You
I
would.
think I mean,
Check, we would just ask for verification.
sure,
I don't think.
we do require a doctor's note in the city of Gresham, there's simply doctor letterhead, customer or patient. Please do not turn off their water
Right,
due to
that's-
health.
yeah.
needs.
You're not getting.
We don't need to know it's because they have.
Right, yeah.
And doctors are aware of that.
Alright, I think that's it.
People also forge doctors.
Sorry, that's all right, I mean, work, it's just things I think of, sorry, I think differently than everybody, but I just wanna make sure Dr.
You know, obliged was the administrator.
That before, actually, but I don't have a degree, so, you know.
All right.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So we have our election coming up for council in November. So the deadline is tomorrow at 5 p.m. for people to register if they're gonna be a council or a mayor or whatever. The deadline is tomorrow at 5 p.m. And then we still have 3 openings on tourism, 2 on budget and 1 on planning. And I believe, if I remember correctly, Gordon, you said that we should be reviewing the electric rates every October. Is that what you said?
October, August, so,
Just I would need to
whenever.
make it tickler.
August to make sure they're done in October.
Okay, that way I'm just like, it's an alert. And then Bernard found out because he got on the news. That's his picture was on the news, so he gets to provide
It was a talkie.
ice cream next council
They're
meeting.
trying to like make you do sprinkles and all kinds of. Way out of control. I will bring a fancy ice cream down to the next meeting.
And then, I actually got an email from Jason for the guy that coordinates the PCT days. And so a couple stats that might be interesting is they had 121 sponsors down there. They had 4,500 attendees.
4,500?
4,500. Donations to the Columbia Gorge Food Bank was 526 pounds of food and $2,946.46 in cash. The raffle on Saturday raised $9,000, which was split by the nonprofits, the PCTA, the ALDHA/West, and TKO. Granite Gear and Groundskeepers picked up and hauled away 400 pounds of trash in Cascade locks on Friday. Wow. So that, it was, and I appreciated them having the porta potties on Main Street that seemed to help with the bathroom problems. And it just seemed to, the post office wasn't as ran crazy. They weren't hit as hard, and I don't know if that's because we have businesses in town that are now accepting packages and stuff, so it's taking some of that weight off the post office, which is nice. And I just want to remind residents and citizens that due to the severe fire conditions and stuff, the yard debris dump won't be open again until October. So no yard debris until at least October because of the fire conditions. And that's all I have. I want to say thank you to city staff and Mary Ann and Gordon for all the hard work. Mary Ann, thank you so much for getting the job done. And so that's simply it. Like, we've gotten 2 audits done since February. I mean, we just started working on it in February, so, and we're in August. Like, that's amazing. We went 3 years and couldn't get 1 done. So I'm really excited that we're getting caught up, which means that we can apply for federal grants and things like that. And it was so nice. I was sitting in the office talking to Kathy today and could hear the people up on the roof, and like, she was so happy to hear people working on the roof. Like,
So she left early.
I mean, the city staff realized what it is to put buckets out and all of this, and so I'm excited that the roof is getting done. And then I know that food bank is on Wednesday of this week, and the side parking lot is crossed off because of the roofers are gonna be, I'm sure they're gonna put a drop box there to drop all the stuff in. So, but Gordon said that the food bank is aware and they've got it handled, so it's just being different this time. I think we'll all survive it. And that's really all I have. And I want to say thank you guys for all of your work.
I have one more quick thing I've got to say. Just shout out to the businesses in town. They really prepared and bulked up and handled PCT Day really well. Have different events going on to support all the folks in town, and they ran themselves ragged.
Most
They
of
did a
them ran
great
out
job.
of food
Yeah,
and stuff
did a great
like they were, and I remember having my business on PCT, we would run out of everything, like.
It was crazy.
As long as you're willing to keep your doors open, there's people there to eat.
They did a good job of
Yes.
that, which welcomes people. You know?
Yes, yeah, so, all right, make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you, guys. Didn't get too bad in here, it's kind of stuffy, but not melting.
Oh.